Call to order this December 4th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Education, actually the reorganization meeting of the Board of Education. We are called to order. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have roll call of the holdover members?
William Hall,
Here.
Jeremy Hash, Jennifer Henkel,
Here.
Nathan Henkel,
Here.
Joseph Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. All right, we'll now conduct an election for temporary president. Are there any nominations from the floor for temporary president?
I nominate Joe.
Are there any other nominations? All right, I'll move to close nominations. Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? All right, nominations are closed. We will now do a roll call vote for temporary president.
Yep, just the people.
Okay. William Hall,
Yes.
Jen Henkel,
Yes.
Nathan Henkel,
Yes.
and Joe Wilson.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't need it to hit anything. Okay. Moving right along, 1.05. This is procedural certification of election and board membership list by the board secretary.
So we received from Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, County of York, certificate of election for Samantha Hall, Lisa Stoller, Jason Decker, and Mary Lee Hall. And I'll just read it one time. We, the undersigned members of the York County Board of Elections, hereby certify that after tabulating the votes cast at the general election held on November 4th, those four individuals were duly elected to the office of school director, Southern York County, for a 4-year term.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 1.06, oath of office. I will administer oath of office to our newly elected board directors. Just I'll come around here. You raise your right hand. I, state your name, do solemnly swear
I, Jason Decker, do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
You guys can take your seats.
Yes. Take your seats. Item 2.01, conducting the election for president. I'm going to ask for nominations from the floor for president.
I would like to nominate Nathan Hinkle for president.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, I'm going to make a motion to close the vote. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay. We only have one nomination, so we don't need to do a roll call vote. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you-
So, all right, so all those in favor of Nathan Hinkle being board president, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Hearing none, the election is complete. And congratulations, President Hinkle.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 3.01, conduct election for vice president. I'll accept nominations from the floor for the position of vice president.
Nominate Joe Wilson.
Are there any other nominations? All right, with that, I will move to close nominations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. We'll now have a vote for the vice president. We only have one nominee, so we'll just do again aye or nay. All those who support the election of Joe Wilson as vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Congratulations. Item 4.01, conduct election of representatives. So I have some recommendations. There will still be a vote on this. For York County Tax Collection Bureau, Trevor Carrington as primary, Susan Green as alternate. York County Tax Collection Committee, Trevor Carrington as primary, Susan Green as alternate. Legislative Liaison, I have Joe and Bill, with Joe primary, Bill alternate. For York County School of Technology Joint Operating Committee, I have Joe Wilson as primary, Lisa Stoller as alternate. For York School of Technology, York School Technology Authority, I have Joe Wilson as, well, it's just one, so Joe Wilson for that. For Lincoln Benefit Trust, I have Trevor Carrington, Jonathan Lewis, myself as primary, and then Susan Green and Lori Woldridge as alternates. For Lincoln Intermediate Authority, I have Lisa Stoller as primary and only. For Lincoln Intermediate Joint Purchase Board, I have Trevor Carrington primary, Randy Buffington alternate. And then for Southern York County School District Foundation, I have Mary Lee, whose term extends to June 2026 anyway. Are there any, so I'll move to accept the recommendations as given. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Is there anybody who I announced where you're thinking, I don't want to do that? Do we need to, or we need to find someone else?
I have a question regarding legislative council, please.
Yeah.
So the PSBA delegates, that right now is Director Bill Hall and myself. As Joe with the legislative council, will that need to change? So the delegate would need to be Joe and Bill, or could I still remain the delegate? And I ask that because it is at a location that is hours and hours away. So it probably is more beneficial for one team to go up together rather than two. So I would like to keep that
I believe we vote on
delegation.
the delegates.
The PSB delegates do not have to be the legislative council.
They do not.
No, we vote on
Okay,
them.
get that out of the way.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
Any other discussion of these recommendations?
The only thing I wanted to point out, I wanted to double check, so the York County School of Authority member, that is a 5-year term, so I just wanted to point that out, if that's a
Sorry, the York County School of Technology Authority
authority, yes.
is a 5-year term. Okay.
So I'll fill that blank in, but I.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering what
there's
that was.
Yep,
Yep.
How long?
it's a 5-year term.
It's a record.
27 years.
All right. Any other discussion of those? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Moving on to appointment of board committees. We've added the ability to have a vice chair for committees. There's only one where I'm going to do that. So we're going to have athletics and extracurricular is going to be Mrs. Mary Lee Hall. Buildings and grounds, Bill Hall. Education, Jennifer Henkel as chair and Joseph Wilson as vice chair. Finance and budget, Jason Decker. Nominating committee, Lisa Stoller. Personnel and policy, Samantha Hall. And transportation, health and safety, Jeremy Hash. Okay.
Where is the vice?
Sorry, the vice chair is Joe Wilson in education.
Oh, that was just the vice?
Yeah, yeah,
That was the
mhm.
only one? Okay.
Yes, yeah, yep. Okay, unless someone would like to recommend a vice chair for any other committee, is there anybody who'd like to, any chair who'd like to request a particular vice chair?
Would it be beneficial to have a vice for finance and budget, just because it's a new item?
Would you want
Would that be
to
helpful?
have a vice chair for that? And is there a particular
Just coming on.
board member you'd like to?
I think if I was to have a vice chair, because Mr. Wilson's the outgoing chair, it might be beneficial to have his expertise as a vice chair.
And vice chair of both education and finance and budget?
Is that possible?
I don't know if it's possible.
Are you,
I mean, I
You
can, I
did.
can advise,
Without,
hmm?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
okay. All right,
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think there'd be much of a
Yeah.
role there.
Yep,
Um,
if it's,
Just an advisory type of role.
okay,
Yeah.
sure.
all right. All right, so then administrative committees. So for the Artificial Intelligence Committee, and I'll, again, if there are any comments on these, I think with this one, this is just an appointment, so there's not a vote, but if anybody has feedback, I'll certainly consider that. For Artificial Intelligence Committee, I have Jennifer Henkel, Joe Wilson, and myself. For the Wellness Committee, I currently have Jeremy Hash. There is a second slot there, but I didn't have anyone who specifically indicated a desire to serve there. Is there anyone else who'd like to serve on the Wellness Committee? I don't think we necessarily have to have two.
Is Jeremy serving on the food service contract committee?
I have him, yeah.
Then I would serve with him.
You do wellness as well? Okay. So, for the Building the Warrior Committee, Mrs. Stoller volunteered to work on this. Is there anyone else who is particularly desiring to be on that, the Building the Warrior Committee?
I can do that.
Okay. And we do have a third spot. Anybody else desire to be on that committee? Meets 9 a.m., 8 a.m. on Fridays? It's early on Fridays.
You should have kept that back.
No, tomorrow morning.
Get the commitment first.
Anyone?
Unfortunately, I'll be working.
All right, I'll put myself on. All right, District Parent Safety Committee, I have Mr. Hash. Health Insurance Committee, I have myself. Food Service Contract Committee, I have Jeremy Hash and Bill Hall. And that is all of those. Moving on to item 6.01, set dates, times, and places of meetings. So those are there. I'm not going to read through them all, but that gives the dates of all the board meetings for the upcoming year. I'll make a motion to approve the school board and committee meetings as presented for January 2026 through December 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Everybody good with these dates?
You know, I do have a challenge with one date, and that will be June 18th.
June 18th.
Date is not possible for Director Bill Hall and myself, but it is outside of the school year, so
Is there any ability to attend virtually?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So is there a request to move that meeting?
I wouldn't have to move it, just
Okay.
making note.
Okay.
I mean, would it be difficult at this juncture to move that meeting?
We did
I
last.
think what I've discussed with Sue is moving a meeting isn't necessarily terribly difficult as long as we move it to a Thursday.
Thursday.
That would be appreciated, that's easier.
So, and I assume Thursday later in the month is better than earlier, because sometimes, is that,
I think the challenge, I'll let Dr. Bryson speak to, I think the challenge with June is if some of our folks already made plans for that following week, you're going to run into.
True,
people have to
making it
use their
later in the month
vacation
is
by June 30th. So I would
probably-
recommend if you're going to move this one, you move it forward.
Forward to the 11th.
okay, but so I hear from you that it wouldn't be a massive hassle if we moved it forward 7 days.
You okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Is that getting us really close to graduation?
June 11th?
No,
No,
we
we
should,
graduate in
We
May.
should be
what's the graduation date
May
this year?
29th.
29th.
Yeah, you just
He's
pulled
moved
that
on.
right.
Yeah, how many days away is that, Caleb?
Count down the days.
get a count on
Clearly, you're not counting.
I think June is one of those months where.
You were
you're gonna be
quick
playing
with that
whack-a-mole
one.
with
We would.
vacations.
Earlier is probably better for more people. So does anybody have an objection to June 11th? All right, in that case, I'll move to amend the schedule as presented to have June 11th in place of June 18th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion of the amendment? Probably not. Any nays or abstention to amend? All right, hearing none, that motion stands amended. Now we'll have a vote on the motion. Any further discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. All right. Okay, moving on to item 7.01. So I'll accept nominations from the floor for the position of treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Jason Decker for treasurer.
Are there any other nominations? Okay.
Any discussion?
Yeah, we'll, once, so, are there any other nominations? If not, I'll have a vote to close nominations, but if anybody wants to nominate, does anyone want to nominate anyone else for treasurer? Okay, I'll make a motion to close nominations. Do I have a second?
Second.
And then did you want to have a discussion about the motion to close nominations?
No, just
Okay.
about the nomination.
Okay, about the nomination, okay. So got a motion and a second to close nominations. So no discussion on that. Any nays or abstentions? Okay, hearing none, that motion carries. Nominations are closed. We can now have discussion about the vote we're about to take, if you'd like.
Okay, wonderful. Jason, you have been so great on the campaign trail, and I can speak so much for your personal integrity. I think it would be really helpful for those of us that don't know you as well, for you to talk about a little bit of your experience in your work world and how that transfers into this particular role for a leadership position as treasurer, and then that obviously goes hand in hand with finance.
Yeah, I have a lot of executive experience, so I've managed $560 million annualized budgets. I've managed large numbers of employees, large organizations. I've been responsible for profit and loss statements, making monthly business reviews to holding companies. So I've had extensive experience managing large numbers of employees and budgets, and so I think that equips me for a role like this.
I would agree with that, and I am so thankful to Mr. Wilson for serving as a vice chair, because I think that there is institutional knowledge, obviously, that comes along with this that you can't know until you kind of come along. So thank you for that, and thank you for that, and thank you for answering my questions, and that is all.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? All right, in that case, we'll have a voice vote. All in favor of Jason Decker as treasurer, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Hearing none, that motion carries. Congratulations. All right, moving on to item 8.01, the December 4th, 2025 agenda.
Excuse me, just for one moment.
Yes.
As the current board treasurer, and that doesn't expire until June, doesn't there need to be a resignation to fill before a new treasurer can be elected into office? And are we doing this correctly?
I think we're okay in talking with Mr. Litz, because you can't hold two board positions. You can only hold one officer, a director can only hold one officer position, so that now that he's vice president, he couldn't hold the treasurer position too.
So it voids the
Right.
one.
No, Now, he could have technically, he could have chosen which one he wanted, but it sounds like he's good with vice president, so I think
Good.
we're
Okay.
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 So then
Making
we would
sure
do
that
this again
doesn't
in
repeat.
June.
There would be an election it's in June. Yeah, I knew it was in spring. Yeah, so there'll be another election for treasurer in June.
Finishing the current term, not
Right,
having
yes.
reelected
Right, it won't change the cadence of the term.
in June.
Yeah, yeah.
I ask because it is specifically different, right? Like, there is a reason why board officers are at this time, and then treasurer is at a different time.
Yeah, so usually, president and vice president are usually in December, and secretary and treasurer are in June, typically.
And the only other difference is secretary is a 4-year term, and treasurer is a 1-year term, and vice president and president are a 1-year term.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to 8.01. I'll entertain a motion to approve the December 4th, 2025 agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion of the agenda? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Item 9.01, approval of the November 20th, 2025 minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries, which brings us to item 10.01, our student representative report. Caleb.
Thank you. First off, congratulations to Mrs. Stoller, Mr. Decker. It's a tough campaign trail. I'm sure you're happy it's over. Then I've got a couple more dates for you guys. It was just a couple weeks ago that we were here, so not too much has happened. Last night we did have winter meet the teams nights, so we have some very good seasons ahead. I'm looking forward to watching some swim, some basketball. Those are my two favorites. Then rescheduled from this Tuesday, we have on December 8th the National Honor Society induction, which I'll be volunteering at for National Honor Society. Then the 9th through the 12th, we have Keystone testing, which will be held for algebra and literature, the 9th and the 10th, and then the 11th and 12th will be biology, with makeups the following week. Then on December 17th, the choir and orchestra will have a joint winter concert at 7 p.m. I'm excited for another great performance. Then a little bit later, we have our Christmas break. Very excited for that. Nice break. I think, what do we have, 13, 14 days? It's a lot this year.
I'm not counting yet.
Yeah. Then January 12th is the end of marking period 2, and the 19th report cards will be available in Sapphire. Then on the 19th of January, we have off school for Martin Luther King Day. Then at 5:30 p.m. at the high school on the 27th of January, there will be a SHS Scholarship Information Night. And then on the 29th of January will be the one-act play put on by our theater and the Winter Carnival. Some of you might remember from last year, it's a pretty new event put on by the High School Student Council that celebrates kind of the low spot in winter. Just gives everyone something to do and good exposure for organizations within the school and the community. That's all I have for you guys.
All right, thank you. Item 11, recognitions and presentations. We have none this month. So we'll move on to item 12.01, public comment. We have one individual signed up, Ashley Morrison.
Ashley Morrison, Shrewsbury. Congratulations to the board members being sworn in tonight. Speaking of the election, I felt the need to address a post made the day after the election by a sitting board member. I will quote directly from the post. Quote, "Each time the lefties try, the good people who live here say no louder than before. You are out of your place here. My parents taught me to be a gracious winner, the same values I try to impart on my children. Not this time, not after the evil you displayed openly. I would love to see for sale signs. SYSCD is out of your reach. We will continue our work in improving educational outcomes, being fiscally responsible in SYSCD, end of quote. This post is quite concerning on multiple levels. The sweeping generalizations across an entire group of the community. Telling your own constituents they are not welcome here. Hoping for an exodus of people because they simply don't agree with or support you. Assuming that people voted across a slate of 4 board members, we can estimate there were close to 3,000 community members that did not vote for the conservative slate of board members. I hope this post isn't implying or suggesting that 3,000 people just leave. And maybe the post was made out of anger in the moment, but that's concerning as well because it indicates a lack of restraint. I was born and raised in Pennsylvania and have lived in South Central PA the majority of my life, but when we started a family, we knew we wanted to move specifically to the SYC school district because of its reputation, and we believe we made the right decision. We're grateful for the teachers and staff for their dedication. Would it be easier to move to a nearby school district now that so many more have a balanced school board? Maybe, but we love the teachers, support staff, and administrations and our friends in the area. So, sorry to disappoint, but we're staying. We're not planning on moving anytime soon. I hope the board member changes their mind and understands that diversity across the community is a strength and something we should embrace.
Thank you. Moving on to item 12.02, board discussion and public comment. Do we have any? All right. Moving on to item 13, the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries, which brings us to item 14, education. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Henkel.
Thank you, President Henkel. So 14.01, we have speakers approved through the vetting process. This is just information, but I would like to highlight that one of the speakers that we approved is Mr. Jackson Fogel, and he's from the Pennsylvania College of Art Design. He's an admissions counselor there and a recruiter, and he's going to be speaking to students, talking to them about, the presentation is actually going through what the college offers and all the different subject matters. It was super cool. He actually gave us the entire presentation. It was beautiful. And so I think our students are going to have an amazing time with that. Dr. Ruppert, do you want to add anything to that?
You stole my thunder on that. I think it's just another opportunity for our students that are in the elective classes, as Mr. Bauer's class is, to find out more about potential careers, you know, where they'll have to kind of step into starting with college. So it's an awesome opportunity.
14.02 is an affiliation agreement between Wilmington University and our school district. Dr. Ruppert, can you cover this one for me?
Yes, Mrs. Henkel, school board, the Wilmington University affiliation agreement is giving us another opportunity for someone to do their placement and student teaching within our district. This specific one is in the multidisciplinary program that's over at Shrewsbury Elementary. So it's providing that person the opportunity to further career in special education.
That's awesome. I'm going to move to approve an affiliation agreement between Wilmington University and Southern York County School District for a 5-year term to expire August 1st, 2030. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions? Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 14.03, which is another affiliation agreement. This one's between Messiah University and also our school district. Dr. Ruppert, can you handle this one for me as well?
Yes, again, Mrs. Henkel. So with this affiliation agreement, this provides our district to provide the opportunity for future athletic trainers to work with the current athletic training staff within our district for that awesome career and helping prevent, but also support our students that are dealing with sports-related injuries.
That's awesome. Being a mom of a child with a sports-related injury, I am very excited about this opportunity. I move to approve an affiliation agreement between Messiah University's athletic training program and Southern York County School District for 1 year ending November 15th, 2026 school year. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions? Any nays or abstentions? That motion carries. 14.4. This is a quote with Grackle Docs to provide Grackle Workspace for education. I'm going to hand this to Dr. Reppert, and I believe he's going to pass it on to Dr. Hughes, so take it away.
So for the school board, Grackle Docs provides the ability for us to make sure that any document that we produce is ADA compliant. As the board is aware, in the community, we went through an extensive process with our website to make sure that it is ADA compliant, and now we're in the process of now providing our teachers with the tools in order to make sure that the documents that they're preparing, that they're posting, whether it's in Canvas, Google Docs, is also ADA compliant. We used to have a free version that we're able to utilize. That has expired, but this would be a site license for the entire district that we can utilize for not only with the training of staff, but making sure that we're complying with the ADA compliance, which would be due, our deadline would be April 2027.
And I'll go ahead and just ask Dr. Reppert. One of the things that was highlighted to me in our meeting was that our district shopped around for alternatives, and nothing provided this level of support while maintaining a fiscally responsible, $2,500 for district-wide for what we need. It was the best bang for our buck.
That's
So
correct.
I was pleased with that, too. All right, I go ahead and move to approve a quote with Grackle Docs to provide Grackle Workspace for education. This is a 1-year agreement beginning December 5th, 2025, and the cost of the service, like I'd mentioned, is $2,500. May I have a second?
Second.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, one question. So a lot of times with these types of items, you have kind of a ceiling on the number of licenses that you can have at that price. Are we comfortably within that ceiling, do you know?
Yeah, from the research that Dr. Hughes and the team did with the Grackle, this will provide our entire district, all of our staff, the ability to do so. So when you're talking about a ceiling, is it 200 to 400? This will provide staff with this site license the ability in order to make all those documents ADA compliant.
So it'll cover everybody now and in the future?
Yes.
And it's a 1-year agreement, so if we expand in ways that we didn't anticipate, we can renew it at a different term, so.
Okay. Very good.
Any other questions? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, that motion carries. Next, we've got 14.05, which is an update for the AI committee. This is here because Director Mary Lee Hall asked specifically for us to do that, and so we thought that this was a great place to park this. We'll have it in education every month. Thank you so much for that suggestion. And Dr. Reppert, Dr. Hughes, take it away.
Thank you, Mrs. Henkel. So with the AI committee update, our plan is just to give the board and the community an update of what we have covered in a previous meeting and what we have planning moving forward. There may be times we'll have a robust amount of information that we're sharing, but there might be times that we might not have anything to report. But as Mrs. Henkel indicated, we'll have that as a standing item in education. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hughes, which will give an update, and then for any of the board directors that are current members of the AI committee, if there's anything you feel that you'd like to contribute to, we'd appreciate that as well.
So we are very excited to say that our first training on the types of AI and its uses went out last week. We have the majority of our staff, we're pretty much around 80% right now of completion. So people were using their snow day very well the other day. But it really does help to give an understanding of the different types. So it went into generative to descriptive and all of the different types so that everybody understands what it is that we're using and what we're not using currently in the district. Since our last meeting in October, when I gave you an update on the apps that have been approved, we've had 7 more approved. None of them are AI. Of those 7, I just wanted to point out, we had one that was called Marathon Kids for elementary, where it is an app that helps with our run club, and it gives incentives and gives positive reinforcement with cute little graphics and figures and things that help our kids engage in physical activity. In addition, we currently have 2 AI apps that are, one of them is a descriptive app called Cami, and one of them is a Conamingo, which is a reactive AI. At this point, we do not have any generative AI. So just to kind of give you an update, we'll be coming back every month to just kind of let you know where we are. Our committee is working, we're moving forward with creating our stoplight to talk about what is and wasn't, what would not be allowed when we are looking at generative AI in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Staying late.
All righty, does anybody have any questions for Dr. Hughes?
I don't have any questions, but I'm not sure if maybe the rest of the board noticed the PSBA communication about AI in education certification program. Anybody see that?
I saw the email. I haven't had a chance to go through the links or anything yet.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. It's a collaboration between PSBA Institute and Millersville University. So it's a certification with the Institute. So our it would be at a cost of $400 per board member, which is not covered under the PSBA membership because it's not all-inclusive for the PSBA Institute. But it is offering a foundational AI information certification for school leaders. So I was just writing down some details on it and thought I'd share. It's not that we want to spend all that money, but maybe one of us could go and come back and report, especially, you know, with AI being so new and, you know, needing these reports every month and being able to be on the same page with what's going on. So it introduces school leaders to core AI concepts, just as you were talking about, Mrs. Hughes, and practical application and education. So there's 2 courses. One's the winter course registration that closes on the 23rd of December, but it's from January 12th to February 13th. It's about 10 hours of individual work time over that period of time, along with some meetings with the PSBA Institute. And if that's too tight, coming up too soon, then there's another spring course registration. That closes March 20th, but the course is from April 6th to May 8th. So something to keep in mind if one of us wants to go. I know I would volunteer, but I'm not necessarily on the AI committee, so maybe it'd be better to have a committee member do that. But their goals are to explain key concepts, as you were just talking about with the staff here, identifying AI-powered tools supporting supportive instruction, analyzing policy, examining ethical considerations, as that's a big deal, also exploring ways to ensure that AI is student-centered, and then recognize the critical factors for promoting integration of AI within teaching practices. So we have some knowledge behind that. So the PSBA contacts for that are James Shearer and Devlin Smeltzer, excuse me. If anyone wants any more information, I'm happy to provide that as the PSBA person, but at the same time, we did get that information in a PSBA communication, so it's probably all in your inbox. Thought I'd highlight it while we're talking AI.
I do have a question, and it's okay if you don't know the answer to it. I skimmed it, but I definitely am not an authority on it. One of the things that I couldn't understand, I certainly understand from a continuing education standpoint, especially since AI is ever evolving, and that's just going to be the life. What, in your mind, does the certification afford us? That's what I couldn't. What does it do for us to be certified? What does it mean?
Well, the certification is giving us a foundation in reference to AI, how we can develop policy to match the demand, and educate ourselves further on AI and incorporating that into education. I think that's important. I think that, of course, we rely on administration for a lot of our information, but I think when we have an opportunity to educate ourselves and PSBA is behind it and the Institute, we should very, very much take advantage of it, especially when they're partnering with Miller-Surrey University. So I think it's
The
valuable.
education component, absolutely. I totally.
And I have a build-off question off of that. So I feel like maybe they're taking this space right now because there's not anything being developed at the state level. Have you heard any updates with the state developing any type of a AI framework? I know some states have. I don't know if anybody's heard anything about where the state of Pennsylvania is relative to that.
Pennsylvania is still behind on it.
No.
Nothing.
No, the latest thing that I know of is House Bill 1238, but that's not even AI as it is cell phone policy, which is something to watch because it's not necessarily, the ban on cell phones, but it's definitely digging deeper in data and the effects of having the cell phone available during education time and actually the effects it has on the brain. Is incredible. So I sent a message to everybody about that. I think administration got it too. I sent it to board members. Email address, so it includes us all. But there was about an hour and 47-minute hearing that our legislators had in Harrisburg. And there's a lot to cell phones being accessed even when it's just during lunches or in hallways or when the teacher says that it's okay, that actually has a negative impact on students during the day that they might not even realize. So there was a lot of discussion surrounding, the emergency effectiveness that families would like to hear from their child if something would happen, and on the other side of the spectrum of the damage in education, especially when we're seeing low scores and reading and those fundamentals, and building on that from the cell phone damage, the effects of too much AI in the children's lives when they're young. So it's just great information. If anybody has time, cleaning their house on the weekend, put that on, listen to it for an hour and 47 minutes. It's all great information. And Director Wilson, I think that you would definitely appreciate listening to it.
I got through about 2/3 of it.
Did you really
Yes.
today?
Yeah, between work and here, yes. I had to put it on 1 1/4 speed,
Right.
which is
So,
still,
I'm sure you
Yes.
heard in that about House Bill 1238. So we'll see what goes on with that. I know we're doing our
there's
thing.
2 competing bills. There's the one that they were talking about, the Barb Lyman, the 1238, I believe. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see which direction they go.
Yeah.
If you do have an interest in the AI course certification, please let me know, because we do have, the district has funding that we do, like PSBA conference, which is educational piece. So I don't want any of the new members or anybody to feel like that's $400 out of your pocket. To me, that's well worth the $400 from an educational perspective, that you feel like you can be in tune with some of our discussions and feel better about it. Please just let me know and we'll work through that.
Does anybody have any other comments?
Yeah, I had one more question. So as we are working through these apps and approving them, after the approval is completed, do we have a place where we are listing them?
Yes. Excuse me, Mr. Hall. Yeah, they're actually on our district website. I know Dr. Hughes, I believe, was it October or November? In October, showed how the community can access those. And then as we come back monthly, we will highlight some of the new additions. And that is yet another reminder for our parents, our community, to go to the website and take a look at the updated apps that have been approved by the district.
Thank you.
And on there, there's a really helpful AI flag for anyone that involves any kind of AI, correct? So it's really helpful to quickly see which is which.
I just have a comment. One of the comments I really appreciated when this body kind of deliberated on the initial AI policy was actually some comments that Dr. Bryson made about the expectations of the workplace once our students graduate, and how these tools are going to be there, whether they know how to use them or not. I'm content with the board assignments that I have. I'll have my hands full with that. I do want to offer my services to the committee as maybe a special advisor. The company that I work for, a very large company, has grants and everything. We've deployed bots. We are early adopters. We're very deep into this, and I could give the committee some insight as to what's going on in corporate America with this, and the types of things that students really need to be equipped with as they're going into the working world. And so if any of that is of interest, I'd be glad to lend my assistance.
Absolutely.
Sounds amazing.
Yep, and we workshop our policies, so I mean, your input would be incredible. Thank you so much for that. Anybody else? All right, 14.06, I have no other items of business. President Hinkle.
All right, thank you. Moving on to number 15, Committee Report, Finance and Budget. I will turn it over to our new treasurer, Mr. Decker.
Mr. Wilson, you dropped that like a hot rock, didn't you? I'll go to 15.01. This is review for bills of payment. So this is, I'll entertain a motion to approve bills for payment contained in the Finance and Budget Report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, the motion carries. Next, we have 15.02. This is accelerated opt-out budget resolution. So this is a motion to approve the accelerated budget opt-out resolution certifying the tax rate with the PDE index for the 2026-2027 school year. I believe that's 4.4% on the screen.
Yes, sir.
So this is not adopting a tax position on, from the board's standpoint. This is just setting that cap. We will not need to go outside of the index. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Having heard none, the motion carries. Item 1503 is the district's medical insurance funding rates and transfer. So this is a motion to approve the following. One, the district's medical insurance funding rates at Lincoln Benefit Trust for the 2026-2027 term, which represents a 15% increase. And number two, a transfer of $350,000 to aid in replenishment required reserves. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any nays or, I'm sorry, any nays or just abstentions? Any discussion? Having heard no nays or abstention, the motion carries. Item 15.04 is a discussion of the potential sale of land near New Freedom. I'd like to thank Ms. Green for providing a very comprehensive memo to the board on this topic. Ms. Green, maybe I'll allow you to frame that for the board and for the public, and we can launch our discussion from there.
Absolutely. So the board asked me to reach out to our attorneys to see what the procedures would be if the board would decide to sell the land near New Freedom, but it's actually in Shrewsbury Township of approximately 200 acres. So it would take board action to do that. And then there are prescribed procedures that would have to be followed. Basically, you could do a public auction, private sale, or sealed bids. But if the board would want to move forward with this, my recommendation would be that we work with our attorneys to help through the process at that point in time.
screen, it seems like the initial steps are title research and appraisal, if I understand it correctly. I'm just curious, do we have the tribal knowledge in this room to kind of settle the title question? How long have we had this land? How is it titled? Are there any restrictions on the title that you're aware of?
I'm not aware. We had another memo, which I can provide to the board, that I think I provided a while ago, and then I think I re-provided it. But basically, we had our attorneys look through the documents and the deed, and there are not a lot of restrictions. I think if we would sell it, the homeowner that lives nearby, there's a couple pieces there that we would have to do, nothing major. We've had, as far as when we purchased the land, I believe it was in 2004 that we purchased the land, so a little prior to when I came to the district. And we had I think it was a note at that point that we paid, and it's been paid off for quite a few years now. So, let me see, what else, make sure I get any other questions, but I don't think I think at one point there was this question of whether we were even able to sell it, but again, our attorney said that there's not a concern there, that we are able to sell it.
In your tenure, is there any precedent for a divestment like this? Have you overseen anything like this in the district?
I have not sold land in this district. In my previous district, we went down that path, and then the board decided not to sell it. So I don't have a lot of experience, but no, this will be the only land that we own in the district that doesn't have a campus on it. So we don't own any other land. So.
I'd like to open the floor to other board members for discussion.
Yeah, just given that, there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of additional space that would be zoned for new development, and given the demographics of our district, we seem to be very far from needing additional land to build like a fourth campus on. It's kind of unforeseeable that would be needed. And so it just doesn't seem like a school district should be in the business of holding land as an investment. That's not our mandate here. So that's why I wanted to bring it up for discussion. I figured probably best to have a discussion after the board changed, and then maybe we can have an action item in January to start the process, I believe is what we would need.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Are we?
Initial due diligence steps to see what the...
Well, and can you even do the initial due diligence until you have an action item from the board to pursue it?
My thought would be if the board wants to proceed with those steps, they would authorize us to.
Action item first.
The appraisals will cost money, so I'm
Right.
assuming that would have to be a board action, and I don't know if there's anything we would need to do with researching the title. I mean, it sounds like that's already been looked into.
But there could be a cost associated with just getting the
Are we
official.
currently leasing it?
So yes,
And what are we making roughly? Can you tell me that?
I think it's about $40,000 a year. It's either 40 or 60. I apologize, I didn't bring that piece. I brought more of the sale piece. So we do lease it to a farmer, but there is so we would have to be conscious of that too, because obviously if they planted their crops, so we'd want to make sure that we would let them know. But there is in our lease agreement our ability to, if we so choose to end the lease. So you can look at that piece also. I think that lease goes for 2 more years. As far as the title search, I want to make sure everybody understands. When our attorneys looked at our documents, but they didn't do an actual title search at that time. So we would need to do that. So they basically looked at the sales agreements and the documents that we had to make sure. Because I had always heard that we'd have to sell it back, or, you always hear these rumors, and I wasn't here at the time. So I wanted that to make sure we understood what we would have to do if we chose to not keep the land.
That was the potential major pitfall, if I recall in your memo, was that if the land was given or sold to the district under certain conditions, there might be some sort of clawback for the original owner or the heirs of the original owner. Sounds like there'll be none of that, so it's just a basic title research project.
I don't think Mrs. Kohler's even alive anymore. But, what did we pay for the land?
I think we paid, again, you're testing my memory a little bit, because I forgot that memo. So I believe we paid $2 million for the land.
You know, I have a couple of questions, because I think that this is not just, you know, of course, a board decision, but we need to think about the township and the boroughs too, and where they are in development. Because the land sale, if the board would choose to sell it, I'm sure it was purchased with the thought of future investment in the district and students and the needs of a growing district. Currently, of course, our district has not seen a lot of student growth in the last few years. However, if the land is not zoned for development because the township or the borough is not wanting to do that, then that is going to devalue our sale. So I think maybe some of our first steps would be in checking with the borough and the township first before we spend any money on doing this, to see what that looks like. Is this something that is able to be developed, or is it not? Because if it's not, then I think that it's probably not a good idea to sell it until the borough and the township are on board with developing it.
And Director Hall, I think a lot of that will come through in the appraisal too. So the appraiser's going to look at how it's zoned and what those hurdles might be with the boroughs, and is going to assign a value based on what its potential use is. So we might kill two birds with one stone and kind of get those answers in the actual appraisal process.
That actually raises the question I was going to ask. If we had an action item in January, it wouldn't be sell the land. It would be begin to take the following steps to basically get the information we need about what is it worth, what is it appraised for, is the title, you know, clean and ready to go, and get those answers. And I think we really do need those answers because, yeah, I mean, you're right. If the sale value is not that high, then we can look and say, okay, well, what are we getting from leasing it? Maybe we are better off holding on to it. With it being in the township, I mean, I remember, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, but that there was a comment from someone that said, you know, the township isn't going to zone any more areas for residential, and the comment was, we'll wait them out. And my understanding is that comment was made a very long time ago. So I don't think it doesn't seem like there are likely changes that the township's going to make to its long-running zoning policy of maintaining most areas as agricultural and not doing a lot of new development. So it really, it's hard for me to speculate that that's going to change substantially anytime in the near future. But again, I think having a number, knowing a number that land is appraised for under the current circumstances would help us to decide that.
Just to piggyback on that a little bit, there was a comprehensive plan between Shrewsbury Township, New Freedom Borough, excuse me, looking to add another 1,000 housing units in Shrewsbury Township. That was last spring that those conversations were happening. I can't say I've followed up with them lately, but it would be good to at least touch base with
Township
township supervisors on that.
Yeah. That's a good
Well,
point.
one thing the land does have going for it, so the zoning board in the township was very conscious to try and keep development close to population center. You know, in other words, not having a farm out in the middle of nowhere turned into a development. And this property is directly adjacent to New Freedom Borough
Right.
and Kohler Point. So I would think that, you know, if the township were in a desire to see a piece of land rezoned, this may be a good candidate for that. Now, I imagine that rezoning process, that's going to be done by someone who's trying to develop it, not by us.
Right. Well, yeah, we're not going to try to rezone it.
It's going to be done by us. And I would.
But that would impact the value, and presumably, people who are engaged in the business of pushing for that kind of rezoning so that they can engage in that development, they're making a speculative decision right now on what comes out of things like that comprehensive meeting. They're looking at that, and they're saying, okay, I think this is the way the wind is blowing. So that value will be partially there in the appraisal, I would expect, if it's done by a good appraiser, is looking at those sorts of things. I don't know, maybe appraisers don't take into account. But in that case, there's nothing if the appraiser has to take into account only the current zoning and no projections about how it may be rezoned, we'll never get out of that, because we're not pursuing rezoning of it. So it will always be zoned the way it is until we sell it, I think. I mean, I don't.
And that sale may be pending.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that.
Variance.
Maybe it gets rezoned before we sell it, but I don't see why that would happen.
Lisa?
Just in my experience being in property management,
Yeah.
working for a real estate broker, the way I understand it, I'm not licensed in any way, but anytime we've had anything go to sale like that, if they're looking at rezoning it, a lot of times that sale can be contingent on that because they have to make application that has to be approved. And so a lot of times it's based on,
Contingent on it being rezoned.
correct.
Okay.
So it's good, to have some due diligence done, get an idea of what is allowable, whether it would even be feasible. And a lot of times that's just picking up the phone and making a phone call for that, so.
Well, and I also have another thought, and that is on the budgeting side. If we're looking at this to alleviate budget pressure coming up, I think that this should not be a consideration because of the time that it would take. And plus, this is just a one-time fix, right? That's not future money, and making sure that we're staying within our budget guidelines. So, just a
Well, there are expectations presented for how the proceeds from the sale could be used.
Yeah.
And budget shortfalls is not on the list.
No,
Right.
or should it be?
But one-time expenses for like facilities.
Sure.
It could help that fund to stay.
It can be used for debt service or capital expenditures, so it is limited to those two items. Any proceeds.
Which we also.
Plenty of both.
Debt service.
But it's a fair point that Director Marilee Hall was making, that if this is something we're considering, we're considering it in its own right.
If we used it to pay off debt and reduce our debt, that would be an ongoing
Yep.
budget benefit.
Right.
So,
Do our bonds have any penalty for early payment?
So we can only pay off our bonds if they're callable, so, or we would do a in substance fees and refunding. So we have an issue right now that falls under that, but they're waiting for the rates. So in talking to our financial advisors, if the rates get to a better place, we would do a refunding. So to answer your question, I believe we do have callable bonds at this point in time.
and this would make it easier to exercise that option to have the money on hand, although we have other funds on hand that we could be using for that, but.
And my recommendation would probably be our bonds. If we remember, we were very, very fortunate in when we did our bonds when it was at the rock bottom lowest rate. So it might be more prudent to keep it at a 4 or 5% interest rate that we're getting right now versus paying off a 1.5% bond. Plus we do have the capital expenditure needs.
Right. So I guess I would say it makes a lot of sense to me to have the action item in January to begin looking into this, because there are unknowns that I think, as long as they're unknown, they make it difficult to make a good decision on this. So I'm definitely would not say let's have an item to just move forward with it, but to move forward with getting those pieces of information that we need. I'd like to see that on the agenda for January. So, good discussion.
Any other discussion or questions on that topic? We'll move to item 15.05, other items of business. Having none, I'll give the floor back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. On to item 16, personnel and policy. We actually have nothing in that. That's maybe the first time that I've seen that for that particular report. Do you have any other items of business?
I do.
Okay.
Congratulations on being a nominating secretary. That's wonderful. I would like to add policy 005 to our review process so that we could take a look at that nominating procedure. It was unclear to me this time. Different people knew different things, and I just think it would be really good to evaluate it. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. So back to me. Moving on to item 17, buildings and grounds. I'll turn it over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you, President Hinkle. 17.01, I would like to make a motion to approve a transfer to the Capital Reserve Fund in the amount of $41,781 for the secure vestibule project approved in November. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving on to 17.02, we have here for our information, the use of facilities. Moving on to 17.03, I have other items of business, which I do not have any. Back to you, President.
Thank you. Moving on to item 18, transportation, health, and safety. We have one item there, which is information on Act 44 of 2025, which relates to parental and employee notification of weapon incident implications for schools. Basically, this is a newly enacted law in Pennsylvania that amends the public school code to significantly expand notification requirements for weapon incidents. So a few of the features: mandatory notification. Schools must notify parents, guardians, and school employees within 24 hours of a weapon incident that violates law or policy. The scope: this applies to all public, non-public, and private schools in the Commonwealth and covers incidents on school property, at school-sponsored activities, or on school transportation. Communication: the notification must be made using a method of communication likely to reach parents, guardians, and employees. And PII, general notifications to the community must not contain personally identifiable information about the student involved. However, the student's assigned school employees must be notified of the student's identity and records related to the incident. If any parents have any questions regarding Act 44 of 2025, those should be directed to our security coordinator, Mr. Matt Leitzel. And then this is just an information item, so any discussion of that?
Yeah, Dr. Ruppert and I actually discussed this in our education meeting, and we were talking about possibly having the need to update either our handbook or our policy to reflect the changes, because obviously the law supersedes whatever our handbook does. So as we're considering the new policy updates, that's probably something we'll have to look into.
Mr. Leitzel, do you have any comments on this since you're here?
So one of the things that we had talked about regarding this new act was just the importance of notifying the public of this change. And we had talked about putting out a letter just informing the public about this change. So when they start seeing these notifications, they're not alarmed, like what is going on at Southern New York County School District. All of a sudden, we're getting all these weapons notifications. Now, with that said, I did a little bit of research, and we really don't have many. I think school-wide, and none of them were used in any acts of violence, but there might have been like one or two in the past 2 school years. So there's not a lot of it happening, but we still feel it's important just to notify everyone about the change so they're not caught off guard. So.
So what is the lower threshold on what qualifies as a weapon that violates the policy? Are we talking like a pocket knife?
Yeah, even replica knives, based on school policy, even though a replica knife, others may not define that as a weapon, our school does. So because our policy identifies it as a weapon, it would be something that would qualify as a notifiable offense.
President Hinkle, just two notes, as Mr. Leitzel was talking about, our notification is something we will put out prior to the winter break, because this act does go into effect January 5th of 2026. That way, the public and the parents of the students within our school community are aware of specifically what you had read, but it just gives them prior notification that this will be in effect if they do receive notification, whether it is at their school building off campus. So if it's Shrewsbury, it would be to that family, to the family and parents. Friendship, it would be specific just to that school building and the families. But if there's anything that occurs on this campus, because we have Southern Elementary, Southern Middle School, and Susquehannock High School, that communication would go to the parents of all the individuals that are on this main campus. So this way, our parents, you're aware that this communication is coming out as a part of Act 44, but we want you to just be aware of the changes that are coming forth.
Thank you. All right, 18.02, other items of business. I have none. So we'll move on to 19, athletics and extracurricular, and I'll turn it over to Mrs. Mary Lee Hall.
Perfect. Okay, so we're at 19.01, request for proposal for athletic training services. So what this is going out to make sure that we're getting training services at a competitive rate that we're paying OSS now. For our trainers that we know and love, so we're not losing anybody, just making sure that what we're paying is a good price. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve administration to conduct a request for proposal for athletic training services effective July 1st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And with that, that is passed, and we'll move to...
We need a vote. Sorry, you got a motion second, but we still need a vote. Right?
These are abstentions.
Any nays or
Oh, I did,
abstentions?
okay, yep.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, and with that, we pass. Thank you. And then 19.02, other items of business. As the new athletics and extracurricular committee member, there are some things that I am very interested in. One of them would be next year's rates for our students that attend. I would like them to be able to attend athletic events at no cost. I've been doing a little bit of research in other districts, and there are many that do this. And I think our kids would benefit. I think that it would help those that maybe cannot pay, that couple of dollars every time they want to go to a game, especially throughout a whole school year. There could be, 50, 60 games that you'd go to, and that's a lot of money for a kid. And I think it's important to love on our own. And I see it at other districts where they don't charge theirs. Other students that come from other districts, though, have to pay, but not our own. So I'd like to see that come to fruition. So you're going to probably hear more from me about that in the coming months. I'd like to see that effective next year for school. Just letting you know that's on the bubble. And some other things that I'd like to maybe talk to Mrs. Green about, maybe Director Bill Hall about our food services and our concessions, maybe improving those a little bit. Maybe the choices would be a little bit better for families that live at the games, right? That you can eat something that it might be healthier for you, or maybe even some crab soup or chicken corn soup or something like that, that we can sell. However, we can work with our food services that will help us improve our menu and our bottom line for those services. So those are some thoughts I have in my head right now. Nothing as far as new business, but just giving you an idea.
Thank you.
And I'm open to anything any other board members might want to add, or even Mr. Ross. I'm sure he wouldn't mind having a free entry to a game, huh?
I don't think anyone would mind that.
No. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, on to item 20, committee report, other business. There's none listed. Does anyone have anything? All right, moving on to 20. Oh, yep.
I forgot to mention, and I thought maybe I could bring it up here, that we are going to be having a meeting with Site Logic coming shortly before the end of the year, looking at our feasibility study and doing some determination of where we may go from here. And I just wanted to let the board know that that's in process.
All right. Still getting stuff done over the break. All right, thank you. Moving on to item 21.01, we have Legislative Council. Anyone have anything to report? Joe was on it, but I don't know if he prepared.
I have not prepared for
Okay.
No, and I have
Let you off the hook this time, but next time you better have something.
It's only been a couple of weeks.
Do you have anything actually?
Oh, we were talking about House Bill 1238.
Okay,
I
that's
was
right,
watching
yeah.
that. A lot of the information is just budgetary, and we already had our budget meeting, and
Okay.
it's just appropriations.
All right, York County School of Technology. Anything?
Not yet.
No, not yet, okay. LIU 12, nothing to report.
Nothing yet.
York Adams Tax Bureau?
No report.
All right. You're not doing any worse than Sue, and she had time to prepare, so. York County School District Foundation.
Nothing to report, but there's definitely excitement once ChapterNet opens up and all the seniors can start applying. Oh my goodness. I hope that the foundation committee that chooses all these, they have 1,000. Not that that's even possible, but I would really love to see every senior get a little something.
And 21.06, other items of business, anyone? All right, moving on to 22.01, resignations and retirements. We have two, including
Mrs.
Mrs. Green.
What would we do without you?
Congratulations congratulations on a well-earned retirement. And Mrs. Green has indicated she's willing to do whatever she can do to help make the transition as seamless as possible, and that's very, very much appreciated. Do you want to say any words, speech?
No, I have a long time yet, over 6 months. No speeches.
All right. Well, I was saddened to read your email, and, you know, I've only been really working with you for about 2 years, but in that 2 years, I have an enormous amount of respect for your work ethic and for what you have done for our district, so thank you.
And your memory.
Likewise.
My goodness, your memory.
Thank you.
I'll be moving in January to approve an expense to have a USB drive put on the side of your head so you can download it out of your brain.
Just download all of that.
Neuralink.
Thank you.
I'll try not to call you at home.
All right, and then 22, other items of business, I have none. Brings us to 23.01. The home education outside cyber charter and Lincoln Edge enrollment numbers are there for your information. 23.02, we have a spring student teacher placement, Samantha Smith from Wilmington University. Is going to be placed at Shrewsbury Elementary through the LIU. Which brings us to 23.03, announcements by the board president and superintendent. Just before this meeting, we had an executive session covering legal, safety, and personnel matters. And then the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be held Thursday, January 15th, 2026, in this building, beginning at 7 p.m. Dr. Bryson.
Thank you, President Hinkle. I also wanted to extend my congratulations and welcome back to Ms. Samantha Hall and Ms. Mary Lee Hall. Thank you, and we're glad to have you back. And also, a big welcome to our new board members, Mr. Decker, Mrs. Stoller. Great to have you on board. We're here to support all of you. Hopefully, everybody on the board would confirm that. It's a lot to take on. It's drinking from a fire hose, but certainly our administrative team, board president, officers, and everybody here is here to help and make that transition as smooth as we possibly can. I'll follow up Caleb, who said he's excited about watching a couple of our sports teams, so I'll cover the others. I'd probably prefer wrestling, so I'll go and watch wrestling. Unified Bocce and our cheer squads participate over the winter, but in all honesty, looking forward to all the teams hitting the courts, pools, and the like here, starting up in the next couple days, actually. Today at Southern Middle School, we had junior achievement in for the YES program, which is your economic success. Always a good event, so the classrooms are full of volunteers and students getting a little bit of personal finance and soft skill development really at a young age to help them prepare for their future. So thank you to JA, all of the volunteers, as well as the flexibility of our middle school staff during that day. I would also just put out there, we're excited for National Honor Society Makeup Day from the snow days coming up this coming Monday night. So we always look forward to that event where I think we have roughly 90 students, 80, 90 students that will be inducted in the National Honor Society. Also looking forward to the numerous concerts that'll be going on, not only in December, but also January as they spread out, and you can continue to get the holiday cheer even into January as they stagger them out across the next 30 days or so. With that being said, I am not going to give a big speech on Mrs. Green's eventual departure, because I refuse to admit that's happening anytime soon. So, with that being said, be well, keep living your dream. She will be very soon.
Thank you. 24, new business. Anyone? All right, hearing none, I'll move on to item 25.01. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any nays or abstentions? Hearing none, we are adjourned.